Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to share a story with you that really got me thinking. It's about a young boy named Omar, and his journey was something we all struggle with from time to time, telling the truth. Omar was a great kid, bright, funny, and full of energy, but he had a habit. Whenever he found himself in a tricky situation, his first instinct was to tell a little white lie. It wasn't because he was a bad kid. It was just easier. Dropped his mom's favorite vase? The cat did it. Forgot to do his homework? I left it at school. These small fibs seemed harmless at first, like tiny little shields protecting him from a moment of trouble. One sunny afternoon, Omar was playing soccer in the backyard with his best friend, Leo. Omar took a powerful shot, but instead of hitting the makeshift goal, the ball sailed right through the neighbor's kitchen window with a loud crash. Panic set in. Mr. Henderson, their neighbor, was a kind old man, but Omar was terrified of getting into trouble. Leo, seeing the fear on Omar's face, said, "We should just run. He won't know it was us." Omar's mind raced. Running away was tempting. It was the easy way out. He could just pretend he was never there. But then he remembered something his grandfather once told him. "A lie is like a snowball, Omar. The longer you roll it, the bigger it gets." He pictured the snowball. First, he'd lie to Mr. Henderson. Then he'd have to lie to his parents when they asked. Then he'd have to make sure Leo kept the secret too. The single lie would branch out into a whole web of deceit. It felt heavy, much heavier than just facing the consequences. Taking a deep breath, Omar looked at Leo and said, "No, we can't run. I have to tell him the truth." His heart was pounding as they walked over to Mr. Henderson's front door. He knocked, his hand trembling slightly. When Mr. Henderson opened the door, looking surprised, Omar's voice was small but steady. "Mr. Henderson, I'm so sorry. We were playing soccer, and I accidentally kicked the ball through your window." To Omar's surprise, Mr. Henderson didn't yell. He looked at the broken window, then back at Omar's honest, worried face. He simply nodded and said, "Well, accidents happen. Thank you for coming to tell me, son." That took courage. That day was a turning point for Omar. His parents were not happy about the broken window, and he had to use his allowance money for a month to help pay for the repair. But the feeling of relief he felt was incredible. There was no heavy secret to carry, no snowball of lies growing bigger and bigger. He had faced the problem head on, and he felt a sense of pride he'd never experienced from telling a lie. From that day forward, Omar made a conscious effort to be truthful. It wasn't always easy. There were times when a small fib would have been the simpler path. But he always remembered the feeling of that heavy snowball and the lightness that came with honesty. He realized that trust, once broken by lies, is much harder to repair than a broken window. Omar's story reminds us that courage isn't about never being afraid. It's about doing the right thing even when you are. The truth might feel difficult in the moment, but it sets you free. Lies, on the other hand, build a cage around you, one that gets smaller and smaller with every fib you tell. It also teaches us about the power of ownership. When Omar took responsibility for his actions, he wasn't just confessing. He was taking control of the situation. Instead of being a victim of circumstance, waiting to be found out, he became the one to resolve the issue. This shift in mindset is incredibly empowering. And think about the relationships in our lives. They are all built on a foundation of trust. Every lie, no matter how small, chips away at that foundation. When you are consistently honest with people, they learn they can rely on you. That's how deep, meaningful connections are formed, whether it's with friends, family, or even a kind neighbor like Mr. Henderson. So, what can we take away from Omar's experience? First, recognize that temptation to lie. It often comes from a place of fear. When you feel it, take a moment, just like Omar did. Breathe and think about the long-term consequences. Is a moment of ease worth the weight of a secret? Second, practice honesty in the small things. It's like building a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Telling the truth about why you are late or why you didn't finish a task builds the strength you'll need when facing bigger challenges. And finally, remember to be compassionate with yourself and others. We all make mistakes. The key is how we handle them. If someone is honest with you about a mistake they made, try to react like Mr. Henderson was, understanding. This creates a safe environment where honesty can flourish. Omar learned that the truth has a power all its own. It's not just about avoiding trouble. It's about building character, earning respect, and living a life free from the weight of deception. It's about being the kind of person you can be proud of. That's all for today's story. I hope it gave you something to think about. What are your thoughts on telling the truth, even when it's hard? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective. Thanks so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories like this. See you in the next one.